Morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Raymond Armstrong here. Seriously, I'm a candidate as an independent for President of the United States. Today, we're serious. This is really serious crap we're talking about today. You have to understand, this COVID virus, the coronavirus, is hard to even think about, but the possibilities of it are devastating. We've been getting so much screwed up information from these people, from all walks. I don't even look at anything on Facebook about COVID because I don't know if it's true or not. I read the paper, I listen to NPR, I read the Washington Post, and I read the Detroit Free Press every day. And I listen to what they say, and I listen to the pros and cons of everything. But when an expert speaks, I listen. I have to. I'm an expert in my field. Anybody that says I'm not, you're full of shit. All right? I'm an expert. I'm an electrician, and I'm one of the best electricians. I know my job. All right? You have to listen to the experts, ladies and gentlemen, and you have to do what's being said. This is serious. I'm at risk of this, and they may not even treat me. I'm 71 years old. My wife is at risk. My daughter's at risk. Both daughters are at risk in the reality of things. All right? Both their immune systems are down. My granddaughter, I think, may have already had this before Christmas, from what the descriptions of things were. I don't know. But it's suspicious. The reality is, this was in China 3 months before it was reported. 2 to 3 months. We've sat on it for 3 months. Countries around China, when it came out at the end of December, bang, they did what they knew had to be done. God bless them. But they've dealt with this before and said, let's keep this in the back of the head and do it. We kind of fiddled as Rome burned, as that one meme circulating around that the president thought he really looked good in. God bless him. I'm glad he thinks that's a great picture. But we have to listen, we have to do, and we have to speak. I've got some things here that are kind of disturbing. It was reported this morning in the Washington Post that young adults, up to 40% of young adults, will be affected by the coronavirus. 40%. I don't know exactly what that means, but it means to me that 4 out of every 10 young adults are going to get the coronavirus. Which to me also means that 4 in 10 children are going to get the coronavirus. Which leads me to believe that 4 in 10 of this country is going to get the coronavirus. You got to look at facts and you got to put them together, and that's what I do. All right, I'm a problem solver, always have been, a troubleshooter. Okay, I know how to look at a problem and how to find answers for it. Sometimes they're not right, I can tell you that, but at least I look for an answer. We had Senator Ron Johnson speak yesterday. He's head of Homeland Security Committee in the Senate. He said 3.4%, which is not a bad number, he says. That's not a bad number. Other people who contact this virus, and again, I don't know, young, old men, and I don't think they really know that. I think there's a lot of speculation, because I could say, I'm at risk. I'm at risk for everything. So is my wife. So is probably any of you guys are my age or even younger. So we got to look at it that way. Okay? So 3.4% is the number he put out of the death rate of this virus. It could be at that high. Well, I started looking at it. He says, that's not that big of a threat. So I got looking at it, and I says, I went with a number, 3.25 million people in our country. 325 million people. I think that's low, but let's use that number. So I said, all right, 3.4% of 3,325,000,000 comes out to be 7.8 million people. That's not a low number. It's a scary number. That's a possibility. Why I'm telling you this? Because that man's telling me I have to believe he knows, because he's been listening to experts. I have to believe that the senator, the good senator, knows. I have to believe that. Sometimes you wonder. But my little township here where I live, Kanoke Township in Michigan, okay? I think the last time I looked at it, I'm just going to come up with a number, and that number, okay, is 3,800 people live in this community, this township. It's one little town called Avoca. The rest of it's farmland and people's personal little places of heaven, like I've got in my place here. I live on my own little piece of heaven, okay? Possibly 92 deaths in Kanoke Township. That's a lot of funerals for here. There's a lot of funerals here anyway, because the elderly live here. I mean, if you look around, just about everybody that lives here, the majority are elderly people because they're retired. They left the city, whatever. They came out here, they bought 5 acres 25, 30 years ago. They retired, they came out here and they built themselves their own little piece of heaven and moved. Michigan has the highest elderly rate, I believe, of any of the states, except maybe Florida, because, well, half the Michigan old people go there too. What the hell, you know. But those are the things that he said. Now, NPR this morning, this one is a zinger, reported and played a recording of Senator Richard Burr. He is the head of the Intelligence Committee in the Senate. I believe he's from one of the Carolinas. I read it and I can't remember right now. So, in a private meeting with, I'm going to say, his big-time supporters, maybe. I don't know. I don't know who the people were. I'm not going to say it, the business people. So I'm going to say his big-time supporters. 3 weeks ago, he told them how bad this is going to be. He told them to plan on airline problems, beware of travel problems, beware of all the things. Well, here's what I suggest to you. Go to NPR and Google. Scroll down, you will find it. They play it. Listen to it. Listen to it, because now we have changed the scenario in this country drastically. Because if the chairman of the Intelligence Committee knows this, does the rest of the committee know it? Why would only the chairman know this? Who informed him? Did the president know this? Did the Democrats on that committee know this? Did some of the candidates running for office on a Democratic primary, who I think one or two of them has something to do with that committee, know about this? Does Joe Biden know this? 3 weeks ago. 3 frickin' weeks ago. Years ago, I'm a construction worker. I build buildings. I built some neat buildings. I worked on some ugly buildings. But I can tell you what, I enjoyed every minute of my life working, building stuff. I like it. I also did a lot of troubleshooting, a lot of fixing this stuff, and I like that. Okay. But I learned a valuable lesson when I was a 4th-year apprentice working on a sewer treatment plant. Okay. In the front of the trailer, the construction trailer, was this sign, 6 P's. And the 6 P's are: proper planning prevents piss poor performance. A lot of you have heard this before. Do you keep it in your head? If you work in construction and you don't follow those rules, or building something, or planning things, or working in the government, because proper planning does prevent piss poor performance on all levels of whatever you're doing. Underneath that sign was Murphy's Law. I believe in Murphy's Law because I know if I can think of it, it'll happen. All right? I got a plan for it that it'll happen. On a construction job, that's what you do. You go, what can happen if we do this or that? Or what's going to happen if I go this way or that way? Because everything has a consequence. And if you can think about it, it'll happen. Basically, if it can, it will. So you look at life and you go, wow. I mean, we can't plan our drive down the road. We can look at a map. Now we use GPS. I love it, but it was more fun, I think, when I was going by maps, because every once in a while I'd pull in a rest area. They used to have those, a lot of them small ones, especially in states like Michigan. Michigan had roadside parks everywhere. They still do. You just got to hunt for them a little bit. But you pull into it, you look at the map, go, where the hell am I? Oh, I'm right here. Okay, I need to go this road, that way, to get where I'm going. That's fun. I always like maps too. I look at maps today. All right? That's planning. You're going to Mexico, you plan. You're going to wherever, you plan. So let's plan. Let's start planning now. I'm afraid about our election this year. And I'm looking at a worst case scenario, and it might be worse than what I'm looking at. But if November 3rd comes around, that's the day we vote for President of the United States. We vote for, I think it's 35 senators, 400 and some congressmen, governors, state representatives. We vote for everybody. And what do? Well, Amy Klobuchar, as everybody should have heard her name, and Ron Wyden, I believe it is. Okay. Have submitted a bill that is basically trying to address what's going to happen on November 3rd. I feel it's far short. Reason I feel that is because I look at things and I wonder. Now, let's go through the scenario. Let's just say, and this could be any president, Democrat, could be independent, could be Republican, shit, it could be a goddamn Nazi as a president. But he's elected in a democratic government, he's elected in a democratic country, and we vote. If that elected president, whoever, decides that it's too dangerous to vote, what do? Well, I can see Congress, private people, suing, going through the Supreme Court. And this wouldn't be announced till there's too late to really do anything about it. The Supreme Court looking at 2000? Think about it. We end up with a dictatorship. We end up with whoever's his son or daughter, whoever he wants to appoint when he kicks the bucket, becoming like Castro or Putin or Marcos in the Philippines before they got rid of his dumb ass. Just look at it. That's the way to see it. That's scary. That scares me to death. I love this country. Right now, it's going through such turmoil. It's unbelievable. Let's smooth out the turmoil and let's go forward and demand from our governors, from our state representatives, from our congressmen and senators, from the President of the United States, that the election will be held no matter what. It can be done. It can be done easily. It can be done safely and securely. Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. I would propose that ballots be sent by the state, okay, to every precinct the way they're supposed to be for the district and area. That should happen about 4 or 5 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 2 before the election. Those ballots would be sent to all registered voters. You would have to sign an affidavit when you got that. And that affidavit could put you in jail. And I would make it very clear, if you fraudulently vote, you're going to jail. We'll catch you. Self-return envelope, just like the census. Put it back in the mailbox. Take it to your precinct and drop it in a drop box there. It's a secure drop box. It's a done deal. Everybody votes. If we look at Florida in 2000, 3% of the votes. 3% of the votes were not counted for every election prior to 2000. Up to 3%. Now, I just use simple numbers. 1 million votes cast, let's say in an off year. I'll use, I think the year that the He-Coon won over Jeb Bush, it was 0.5% split. Well, say 1 million people voted. 30 million ballots could have been rejected because of hanging chads or whatever. All that bullshit they went through in 2000. Washington Post, New York Times, Detroit Free Press, any newspaper with a brain. Look at 2000. 3% of the vote, up to 3% of the vote was cast out. 30,000 votes could have been rejected because of those problems. Probably the most honest count Florida got was in 2000 because they were all looked at. Okay? Understand where I'm going? 3% of the vote is 30,000 votes. I believe the He-Coon. All right? He won by 5%. That's 5,000 votes. Numbers suck, don't they? Now, we can honestly say that statistically, this vote percentage would have stayed the same. Statistically say that. But, here again, Murphy's Law falls right in here. So now, we are in trouble. We need to come together as a nation. We need to come together and we need to demand things like guarantee our vote, our ability to vote November 3rd. Primaries, I think it sucks that they're doing away with them. And I'm glad they didn't start before Super Tuesday. All right, because at least we had a reasonable turnout in an election for Super Tuesday. The one last week, I went to my precinct last week, and I'm going to tell you what, I was the only person there. Kind of shot the crap with all the gals in there. Okay. It's us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm independent. I don't care what Democrats say. I don't care what Republicans say, or conservatives, whatever you want to call either side. I don't care, liberal, conservative. I try to walk the middle. And right now, I'm walking the middle because neither side is giving